What's good, and welcome to the most anticipated, most insane, maddest video so far on this channel. Has been requested. Actually, only one person requested it. This is the piece of tech that has completely revolutionized the way I learn, the way I take notes, the way I store information, and that is how I use my iPad. So I've owned this for about a year now, the iPad Pro and the pencil itself, so I've learned quite a bit about how to use it. I've learned about some features, some tips and tricks. So I thought I'd make a video sharing some of those things that I've learned with you today. If you don't know me already, my name's Anas. I'm a fourth year medical student studying in London, and I just make videos about being a medical student. Very briefly, in terms of the structure of the video, I'll divide it into 4 parts overall. First bit, I'll talk about which iPad I have and how much it would cost you to get today and the different models that are out there. The second part, I'll talk about why I decided to get the iPad and hence why you should get it. Yeah, sounded a bit like a salesman there still, but non-sponsored video just to put it out. And third part is how I use the iPad specifically, the different apps I use, and specifically I use OneNote, and how that works and how it divides into different sections of notes, etc. Finally, the last part, I'll talk about different situations and features of OneNote and how I use those features in all of the different situations within medical school that I've come across. So hopefully that should be really useful as well. So I got this iPad about last year, and this is the iPad Pro, the black model. I also got the pen with it, and I got a case from Amazon. So there are 2 models out there today that you can get. You can get the iPad Pro, which would cost about £619 starting price, and then about 89 quid for the pen, and then £10 probably for a case if you got it off Amazon, and that would be a total of about 700 minimum. Then you can get the new iPad, which is one that came out quite recently, and this is the cheaper model, and it costs about £319 starting price. Pen would be the same price, so about 89, and about £10 for a case, and that would be total of about £400. So about £700 for the iPad Pro. Yeah, that's a bit of a sticky one, can be quite expensive. The only reason why I decided to get this one is because the new iPad wasn't out at the time. So it might be a good idea if you're on a budget just to get the cheaper one, because the pen still works on that as well. Now, why did I decide to get the iPad? The main reason why I decided to get it is I just wanted to get rid of all of these flipping paper notes that I had lying everywhere. They would be all over my room, all over my house, and I would make notes every year. I would never reuse them again. They would get lost, and it's just not useful at all. The other difficulty with paper notes is that you can't really share them. No one can really read your handwriting. I mean, you can make photocopies, but that's just a bit of a long thing. Whereas now the iPad came and solved this. When I write something down on the iPad, it syncs to all my devices and it's there on the cloud forever. And I can access it when I'm like 80 years old and I'll be like, yo, here are my notes 60 years ago. The other kind of add-on positive is that it kind of gives you a bit of street cred on the hospital wards. Say like you're just chilling with the medical team there, then one of the regis will see you writing down your notes and be like, oh wow, you're writing down your notes on that. Be like, yeah, it's actually pretty good. And they'll try it, they'll be amazed, and then you guys get along for the rest of the hospital placements and your best friends, and that's what I say. Obviously, don't get it for that reason, but I'm just saying it. So I've seen people use loads of different notes out there. The one I use specifically is OneNote, and I have some very specific reasons as to why I use it. There's another app that I use sometimes, which is Notability, but I don't use Notability for kind of medical academics and notes and learning. Mainly I use Notability for my life planning. The way that I found that I learn is through building of knowledge. So suppose I'm in year 2 of medical school. I would have acquired some knowledge and I would have made some notes in that year. Now, when I come into year 3 or year 4, I would be exposed to some new resources. I would be exposed to some new information. Now, instead of remaking all of those notes again, I would edit those previously made notes and build upon that and then learn through that as well. And that is one of the reasons why I use OneNote, because it helps me with that. One of the limitations of simply just drawing and writing anywhere, even on an iPad, is that it's not digitalized. So even though it's always synced up, it's very difficult to search information on that. It's very difficult to edit information when it's simply just written down. So suppose I have 1 full page of notes. Now I'm in year 5 of medical school and I want to edit that page. it's very difficult in comparison to just editing text. So you would have to remake those notes again, or you would have to erase lots of bits, and it would take lots of time. So for me, that's less efficient. And what I like to do is I integrate text information and written and drawings and things like that. And OneNote really helps integrate all of this into all my devices. So let's go into OneNote and see what it looks like when you open it up. And what you can see on here is that OneNote divides all your information into little notebooks. And the way I've divided them is either into different projects I'm involved in or the different years in medical school. So T year here is 3rd year of medical school. So let's go into those notes that I made previously. And then here you can see different color markings, and they could be, you can call them maybe chapters. And I've divided them into different topics in 3rd year of medical school. So you can see here that I've divided them into CVS exams, musculoskeletal exams, neurology, renal or surgery, biochemistry, etc. So different topics or specialties. Then you can pick which specialty you want to go into. So let's go into renal here. And then here I've got different conditions or different topics within that specialty. And these maybe you can call different pages within OneNote. So let's go into maybe nephrotic syndrome. Open that up, and here you can see some notes that I've made myself. You can see that I've written down some stuff. You can highlight some things on here. You can add some pictures and annotate the pictures as well. And you've got the highlight function there. You've got the writing function. One of the things that I don't really like is you can't just turn this pen around and just erase it like that. You actually have to click the erase button. And one of the amazing things about the iPad is that you can put your palm on here as if it's paper, and you just click on that and you can just do that, and it still writes even though your palm is on the screen, and that's known as palm rejection. Now let's show some of that text and handwriting integration that I talked a bit about. So let's go into my OSCE notes, let's go into cardiovascular, and then here's the chest pain history. And here you can see that I have some text which is written down, and this is specifically about different questions that you should ask a patient who presents with chest pain. And then I have loads of annotations and feedback that I've got from other people about maybe more questions that I should ask. So here you can see for pulmonary embolism, maybe I should ask a bit more about the diet that they have. And this is really useful because the text allows it to be digitalized, and then the handwriting allows me to make annotations, and it gives some context because I've written down some things and I know specifically that the diet refers to pulmonary embolism, whereas had I just written this down on like an empty page here and I just put ask diet, then I would lose that context. And that's why the text and the handwriting features together are so useful. Aside from all of that, the most amazing and insane kind of feature on this is the syncing ability and how seamlessly it integrates to share information between your iPad, your laptop, your phone, and all the other devices that you use. So just to showcase this, let's go on here and let's go down to new section and open up a new page. And let's call this test page, and let's highlight this maybe green. And then let's open up my phone. Open up OneNote, go down to the bottom section, new section here. And here you see that the test page is created already, and here it is, the thing that we literally just wrote down a couple of seconds ago on the iPad. The other really useful feature, aside from the syncing and all of that, is that I can instantly share notes by emailing it through a PDF to someone else if they ask for it. So for example, I have again these cardiovascular history notes that I've made. I can then just go on here and then I can just email the page to someone else as a PDF. And here it is in a PDF format. Now let's talk about some of the situations that you can use the iPad in, and also some of the features on the iPad on OneNote that you can use in those situations. And one of the main situations is in a lecture setting or lecture format. Either you can just go on Safari and open up that lecture on the virtual learning page that your university has. So let's go on here and open up Safari, and I've already opened up the lecture on that website, and then I can just click on here and share it onto the OneNote app. Now I can edit the size of this here. Other things I can do is write down some things, I can highlight some things, I can edit the size of that highlight, make it thinner, I can change the color of the highlight. Maybe I would like to draw some things on here. So now suppose that you want to access some document or some PDF that's part of that lecture and it was a handout, but you don't have internet access. Now if you have a MacBook, there's an instant iCloud sync between your MacBook and your iPad. Now let's just open up this page here. This page is empty, and click PDF print, and then go to the iCloud drive that I have, go to my desktop, which is synced with my laptop, and I can just click that information on here. Make this full screen. I can write down some things, circle things, I can highlight. So for this, you don't even need to use AirDrop, it just does it automatically. Apart from adding documents and PDFs onto that OneNote, the other thing you can do in a lecture is you can record the lecturer as they're speaking. So if I go back to the insert section of the OneNote, and then I can click on audio here. Suppose I'm recording here, here's the YouTube video and I'm recording it right now, and I can play it. Suppose I'm recording here, here's the YouTube video and I'm recording it right now, and then I can just click. Okay. The other scenario that I usually use the iPad in is on clinical placement. So sometimes we go on ward round with the doctors and the team, and they see specific patients and they talk about specific medical conditions and treatments and all of that. So sometimes I want to write down those things. For me, it really does work to just carry an iPad with me and I have the pen and I can write down things as we go along. But the other thing is that it's better than just having a phone, because sometimes some people just feel like it's unprofessional. And even if that doctor thinks that it's alright and they let you do it, other people might have a differing opinion. Even the patient might feel a bit uncomfortable. It just kind of looks like you're texting or you're just chilling on Instagram. So I just prefer to have this. The other scenario where I tend to use this is in clinics. So for example, if the doctor asks me to take a chest pain history from a patient, then I'll take the history, then they'll give me specific feedback about things I should have asked. I will open up that chest pain history, and I will put, oh, I should have asked about diet, or I'll put, I should have asked about aortic dissection. And that way it's there and I know the context of that information that I've written down. And then I can go back in my own time and edit that text note on there. So that's pretty much how I use the iPad at university, at medical school, and so on. So I hope you liked that video. If you liked the video, then like the video and subscribe to the channel. Safe.